now. It's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4.
Here we go, Roger.
Then with the coach, Mickey Clayton on INSiiGHTS. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
Testing.
Got you.
You got me?
I do.
Hey, hold on, man. It's not coming up on my on my tablet. It's ringing on my phone. So
Do you see me?
yeah, I see you well.
Yeah, I see you good too.
I'm holding my phone.
Oh, okay.
You know, and my tablet is like set up there like that. So it's easier to because I move around. I mean, I can say like this, whatever. We'll just say like this, whatever.
Say we'll roll like this.
Whatever.
Yeah, because
Whatever.
I got you. This is probably the most centered you've been in terms of your face and being right directly in the screen and everything.
Yeah, because I'm holding the phone right in my face.
So you got to figure that out, huh? Say, and I hear you real clear. You ready to do this, young man?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
INSiiGHTS Sports Talk. INSiiGHTS Sports Talk. Traveling the country for the biggest stories, bringing you the news that will impact every athlete in America. We tell it all. INSiiGHTS Sports Talk with your hosts, the coach, Mickey Clayton,
And Rick Brown with a cup.
the Sports Talk Show, the Sports Talk
Iced tea. Oh, well, hot tea.
Hot tea. Kappa hot. How you doing there, Rick? Welcome. How you doing there, buddy?
Hey, Coach. Hey, thanks for having me back, my friend.
Oh, Rick. What is Mick and Rick without Rick?
Let's not answer that question.
Not answer it right now, okay? Okay. I could deal with that. Let's touch on the All-Star weekend, because we're going to get to the game, and I'm going to share my thoughts, and then we're going to share our thoughts on that. But what did you think about the dunk contest and the three-point shooting contest yesterday?
I told you the last time that this is my favorite All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, and it did not disappoint. I mean, that dunk contest took me back to the 80s. I mean, 80s and 90s with Jordan and Dominique and even Dr. J and Nance a little bit. I mean, it was just exciting. I mean, you could tell the guys really thought about it in terms of creativity. And they tried to outdo each other, which is what a slam dunk competition, or any competition really, is about. So I really enjoyed it, and even though I thought Gordon got robbed because
I agree.
his sit down, I don't know what you want to call it, but his lazy boy dunk, or wow, it's flying in the throne dunk, or whatever you want to call that, was just so freaking. I hadn't seen a dunk like that ever, and it was great. But hey, it was a great contest, and it brought back the excitement. And you can tell I haven't even spoke about the other parts of the events, the 3-point competition or the skills competition, because that's how excited I was about the dunk competition.
Well, we're gonna get to 3-point, and we're actually gonna come back to the dunk with I call it the lazy boy recliner dunk, because he sat in that sucker like how I lay down in my lazy boy recliner and still finished it with his head on the rim. Now let's go back before we, because we're gonna talk some more about it, but let's go back to the 3-point shooting contest when Kenny Smith had to come back and apologize because his comment was that the 3-point shooting contest was a premier event and should be last. Well, the 3-point shooting contest in itself was a hell of a show. I mean, it was a competition in itself, and the way it played out, you wouldn't have thought that the dunk contest could beat it. Even though as time has gone on, the 3-point shooting contest has gotten better and better, all the way back to when Larry Bird messed with everybody's head and walked in the locker room and was like, hey, which one of you guys in here playing for second? And turned around and walked out, and they were like, oh, shit. Larry Bird got him in. But the fact that Clay and Stephon went at each other, and Clay wins it, first guy off the bench is Stephon. I mean, that teamwork. And I tell people all the time that one of the things that I really enjoy about the All-Star Weekend is these activities and the players who are professional, the best in their business, how they respond at some of the performances that they see in some of their colleagues out there. I mean, they're like us. They're like, oh my God, did you see that? And they're like, I mean, those are the reactions that back in the day, you had to tape it and put it on your VCR to rewind it. Now, thanks to TiVo, I can rewind it 10, 12 times. But that's what really gets me, is just some of the reactions.
Yeah. Oh, well, I agree with that. I mean, and the 3-point shootout, I mean, wow. You have teammates, and they go at it in practice. Right. They go at it in practice. Right. But these two kids don't seem like they talk noise to each other. Mm-hmm. They just go at it for fun, I think. Mm-hmm. And so it was just like practice probably for those two. Mm-hmm. And it was a good competition. It was good. And I love seeing when a guy gets hot and hits like 10 in a row. Mm-hmm. And you'll be like, oh, I thought, whoa! You're right. The bitches like it. The peers are like, I don't believe this guy's shooting like this. And you're right. It showcases, it gives other guys a chance to showcase their abilities. And we all know that Steph was a great shooter. I think people are now beginning to realize that, hey, Clay isn't bad either.
No. And on any other team, he'd really be something. Because they would really be turning. Yeah, I mean, just...
Coach, there was a game he hit, was it 30-something in one quarter?
In a quarter.
Just, what? I mean, you don't hear about, I mean, you didn't hear about Jordan hitting 30-something in a quarter. Everyone this love fest with Kobe. Kobe never hit 30-nothing in a quarter. I mean, you got to be pumping some points to hit 30-some points in a quarter.
You talk about the love fest with Kobe. We're going to take a little sidetrack then, since it was Kobe's weekend.
Yeah.
Which, was almost like the Geritol weekend with Kobe being out there this weekend. And the fans voted him in. So I don't have a problem with that. The game is for the fans. They voted him in. People upset. I don't give a damn about that. I mean, they wanted to see Kobe. And, yeah, he was not the Kobe that we remember. We all know that. But I think this just, paying homage to Kobe, what he's done. Obviously, he knows, and he's been hurt the last few years, which happens when you get older. Charles Barkley will talk about guys, they sit out for 2 years, and like, man, I feel great. I think I'm going to make a comeback. And Charles tells, yeah, your ass feel great because you ain't ran in 2 years. Get out there for 2 months and see how everything starts breaking down. Kobe's done well, people saying he should retire. We had that discussion on the show. $18 million, I'm going out there in a wheelchair until I get my $18 million. Y'all call me what you want. Pay me, then I'll go off in the sunset. And I thought, for Kobe to be the type of personality that he's been over his years, people have treated him, the fans in particular. And what Kobe said, it wasn't so much as them saying goodbye to him as him having a chance to say goodbye to the fans.
You mentioned that the way he's been as a player. And I thought the nickname Black Mamba was appropriate because he was deadly. It always was about winning. and I'm not going to say winning at all costs because that has a negative connotation, but he valued winning more than anything. I mean, and so he wasn't there to be buddies with teammates, or he wasn't there to be buddies with the rest of his opponents. He was there to really to kill them so he could get a win. That's the Kobe that I remember for the majority of his career.
Mhm.
Well, for 19 of his 20 years. This year is just like he's like, wow, it's almost like he's trying to catch up. Or I don't want to say reinvent himself because this isn't Kobe that I know. You know, shaking hands with guys and hugging guys and waving to the crowd and talking to the press. Talking to the press.
Rick, he gotta be friendly now. Hell, he can't play. When he can play like that, he wasn't friendly to nobody because you can kiss him where the sun don't shine, and he didn't care. But now, he's a high volume shooter with low volume accuracy. So yeah, he's humbled a lot now. But when he was knocking those shots down, he wasn't speaking to nobody. You were going to say something about the press. Share that.
Yeah, he was not a press-friendly guy. I remember I listened to his Philadelphia press conference where he was on there for about 30 minutes. I was like, who is that guy up there? He's telling stories and reflecting, and I'm like, did an alien come down and clone this guy? Because that's not the Kobe Bryant I know. The Kobe Bryant I know is, I won't say one-word answers because he's always been good.
Okay.
But he's not going to give you a whole lot. So this is just
now he don't give you a whole lot on the floor. That's why. Man, I think Kobe had a season high 1.5 assists earlier in the year. He's not passing to nobody. I mean, I can't call you a gunner now. You took your shots, but you did know what an assist was. I think Kobe thought an assist was when you handed him a drink when he came off the bench. Wasn't about him playing or passing you the rock, and he really doesn't pass it to you now. Let me tell you something else I've enjoyed. I don't care what they say. I like Shaq and Kenny and those guys because, Shaq is like us. Shaq could sit on the show. He talked the same stuff we talk. And one of his all-time best Shaqisms to me was when they were bringing a chef on one day and they were going to have him prepare some chicken. And Shaq said, well, how come when they bring a white guy on, he's a chef? They bring a black guy on, he's a cook. And he said, I don't care what y'all say. The best chicken in the world made by Colonel Sanders. That's the best chicken in the world. I don't care who y'all got over there making chicken. But Shaq had one. He told him, he said, I'm going to go over there and slap the hell out of Kenny. And when you see how much pain he's in, you're going to shut the hell up and leave me alone.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would say to me.
See, there you go. And then when he told us, nothing worse than seeing two guys.
I just wanted people to know.
You just want them to know, Rick.
To know how much you abused me, or used to abuse me when I was growing up. Yeah, I just want them to know. I just want to set the record straight.
Okay, I hear you setting it straight, all right. And he had another. He told me, say, ain't nothing worse than two guys in a fight who can't fight. Oh boy! But
okay, so tell me, Coach. Tell me about this All-Star game, man. They almost put up 200 points, man.
I started off, and I was just going to do something. I said, I'm just going to keep track of the dunks. That got boring. When have you seen a game? Rick, to be honest, I would rather watch them guys in a pickup game than to watch them in this. Because if they're in a pickup game, you get to see the true competitive nature come out in them.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked before, the difference in the North and the South. And when you play basketball in the North and you go to the park, you got to bring your game because if you lose, your ass might not play for 2 more hours. And if you couldn't play, you weren't going to get picked up. And you just sit there forever and ever. And if you just imagine now, you took these guys and you had 5 of them on a team, and you had 3 or 4 teams, and whoever won at the end of the day with the most wins, the last team on the floor, got $50,000, you see a whole different level. Because they're going to play, like somebody made a comment during the game. You can't tell what a good move is because they hadn't had to do anything to get open. You know, but, I mean, what was the footage we were trying to find? The dream team in practice. And how they were going after each other. When we finally got a chance to see it, it was years later, but we were like, oh, hell. Because they were in their element. You know, Magic and going after Michael Jordan and the competitiveness between Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. Hey, them guys about to fight in there.
Yeah.
Then you see them play today, they get out the way, let them score. So, I mean, it's not even a good pickup game. It's, you know, I'd much rather see a pickup game than to see them playing what we saw. This was probably the worst part of the game to me.
This reminded me of, the worst part of the weekend. You're probably right in the sense that this reminded me of Summer League, the Kenner Leagues and Rutgers Park, where when the stars go there, it's just a big show. And they're just going and they're scoring. You know, Kevin Durant is putting up 60 points and LeBron James is checking him and he has 59 because he's not checking him. You know, the hope was, and what used to be what people used to say about this game, oh, they're clowning around for 3 quarters, but if it's close to the 4th quarter, then you'll see them, but it's not close.
Right.
It's a 20-point game going into the 4th, and then it's just much of the same.
Right.
I was hoping they wouldn't score 200 points. Well, I was hoping they would, but then I was hoping they weren't because then it would have really been a joke. And we would have seen or heard so much outcry about it. But I love seeing guys like Westbrook go off and shoot threes and dunk like crazy. I like seeing Steph Curry go off. And Paul George, oh my goodness. Yeah. Is he back from his injury or what?
Yeah.
You know, so those were good things to see. As far as the game itself,
yeah. And I honestly got bored. I mean, I was waiting, you know, till we could do the show. You know, it was the weakest part of the weekend. Now, I don't know if you've ever been. I've been to All-Star Weekend before and been to an All-Star game back in the day. Still, man, wow, that was 1990. Were you born there? Man, that was a long time ago. Barkley, and I'm looking at the poster I have here in my office here. And
I was still at FAM then, thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you know, little young buck, I didn't know. and I'm sitting up. Man, I had to be I wasn't in the next. I was in the next to the last row. Okay, now I've been in the last row before when I went to see the Lakers play. But I was so glad to be in there, I didn't care where I was. I mean, I was sitting in the last row. I could put the popcorn and the Coke behind me in the Forum because I was in the last row.
Where was this? Where was this?
Forum in L.A. But at the All-Star game, is the fans. It's not for the fans. The All-Star game, the Saturday, the fans can get in and they can be a little close. But at the All-Star game itself is mostly corporate America.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not in there now. Went another time in San Antonio and some other times in LA, but all of that you want to do is you want to go to the events and stuff around it. You get a chance to go, but the game itself, you sitting there and it's just for corporate, and the corporate sponsors have seats and the movie stars and things like that, and you know it's the NBA's way of paying a bill, but the game itself isn't really worth it. I mean, you get a lot of the fans and celebrities, and you know you can't get to them, but you can see them. They're all around all weekend and stuff. And I still say it's still the best game, the best professional sports All-Star weekend to me is still the NBA. But it's just a game, and after the dunk contest and the three-point contest, it's hard to live up to that.
No, I was very fortunate to go to one NBA All-Star game. And I couldn't have picked a better one. It was in Orlando. It was Magic Johnson's final. Oh my goodness. To this day, I see the hook shot that he throws up from 25 feet that goes in at the buzzer. I see him calling out Michael Jordan. I see him calling out Isaiah Thomas to check him. And they're going back and forth. I mean, that was a special All-Star game just because of the circumstances with him having to retire because of HIV and later coming back, but that's another story. And just the way those guys played, because I think it was Dennis Rodman who first bodied up Magic and said, "I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of no HIV. Let's play ball." Mm-hmm. And that's when everybody else started getting into it a little bit. And so that was my first and only one I have to say was memorable.
Rick, if there was an all-star game for you to go to, that would have been the one to see. That's my most memorable one for the exact same reasons that you just so eloquently stated. I mean, and in fact, that was going to be a question I asked you. And because of that, you know, all the things around HIV and people not knowing and how he handled it, how he came from it, how people who played with him in Barcelona now all of a sudden were worried and couldn't play against him, mainly because they were afraid they wouldn't be able to beat the Lakers. But Karl Malone and some of them speaking out, and you know, that always, you know, I just kind of viewed him with a little bit more of a punkish heart than I thought, you know, to now all of a sudden come out and the backlash and Magic just saying, you know, he saw the fear in their eyes and he just decided it was time to retire. But to come back like that, and he wasn't even playing that season and it was overwhelmingly voted into the All-Star game. You know, that was the one to see, Rick. Now, as you say that, share with the listeners a little bit about the crowd and how they responded. Because I don't really think people understand the stark distinction between seeing it on television and actually being a part of it as it unfolds.
Well, you know, because it was an all-star game, it's not as fever pitch as a collegiate game or as a fourth quarter of an NBA regular season game or a playoff game. So it was still kind of lax, but because of the star power, this was Orlando's first all-star game. So that was big for them. So the people wanted to see any greatness. And then you had Magic. I mean, really. And so the Magic weren't good then. So this was great. I mean, and then for Magic to come back and to perform well. And every shot, after, you know, in the beginning it was like that polite golf clapping, yeah, Magic's back. We'll wonder how he'll do. And then he'll make a shot. And then he'll make another one. And then he'll do his no-look pass. And then he'll be running Showtime break. And people started say, oh, Magic hasn't lost a thing. He's not dead. I mean, and so the crowd just got more amped up with him. And Jordan was doing his thing. And Barkley and Malone were doing their thing. And it was just started. It was Isaiah Thomas was dazzling the crowd, and it was good. And then the fourth quarter came. And those boys got serious. It was time to play some basketball for real. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Magic put on a fourth quarter show that was special. And it was special. Wow. It's hard to explain just because.
Did the crowd go nuts in there?
Yes. And this hook shot from 25, all right, 23, 9, 25. I think I said it was from 27 feet. A hook shot, and the crowd just went berserk, just like it was a collegiate final or a football game crowd, because that's how rabid they were and how appreciative that they got a chance to see greatness perform great, at least one more time.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. And we did get a question. Somebody made a comment, and along the fact of what we said earlier, And I guess they couldn't remember the game, but they said the dunk contest, they said the guy from the Magic was robbed. Just
Yeah, Gordon. Yeah, Gordon. Definitely. It was, but the other, the winner didn't. He didn't. It wasn't bad. He didn't. I just thought it should have been a co-winner. And I know you can't have that.
mm-hmm.
I don't believe in co-winners, but that was, oh man. And even his last dunk that he got 46 or whatever he got. 47 on.
Yeah, 3 of them gave him 9s.
I thought that was a powerful dunk.
I did too.
It was strong. And to see Iceman give him a 9. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to go through the screen. That's you, of all people. Of anybody up here, you've been on the other side. Well, Ice couldn't dunk that much, so.
Yeah, Ice finger roll.
Yeah, from the free throw line.
Yeah, that's what his commercial was. He finger rolled. You know? So he should have had a special affinity for anybody who get over the rim like those guys were doing.
Exactly.
You know, but I appreciate our listener. You know, and you know we like to hear from him. But that was that was my thing. I kind of agree with what the commentator said. The best dunk of the night belonged to him. You know. And I kind of like what Shaq said. Shaq said, I can't give you a 10 if you missed the dunk the first time. I can't, it kind of takes away from it. But then Kenny Smith said, well, in the rules it says you have to block it out. You know, he said, yeah, but you don't. You know, the guy missed, and we've seen guys go back 3-4 times trying to do the same dunk. And when they finally get it, they get 7s, 6s. You know, people didn't block it out. I mean, because they remembered him missing all of them. Now you just kind of sympathetic and hope the guy makes some before he fall and hit the rim and bust his ass, don't get nothing.
And that's why we got tired of the dunk contest, because all these people trying to do these outlandish things that they couldn't do and missing all the daggone time. And we'd be like, all right, next. Something, come on.
Right.
I mean, that's why.
And who was that out there? Was that Nash or Kerr? Who was that out there? Must have been Nash trying to make the soccer pass and couldn't get the pass. They kept telling him, hold on, give one more try. And I was like, that kind of got old too.
Yeah. The creativity. Gordon again, when he had his mascot stuff on the hoverboard, and the hoverboard is spinning.
Right.
And the timing of that, one take.
Right.
One take, folks.
Right. Right.
This is not rehearsed. This is, wow. That's wow.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And I agree with the guys. They were saying these guys are making these things up on the fly. After they got to the overtime, they were just inventing. You could hear them say it. They were, he was dreaming up stuff. I was dreaming up stuff too. Oh, but how about the one when they threw it off the side of the backboard? Oh, my God. I said, look at here.
And boy went between it, jumped for the free throw. Threw it off caught it out between his legs, and then boomed it, jumping for the free throw line. What was that? Oh, my God, man. That is awesome. Man.
And who was the judge that had the heart attack that was grabbing himself by the chest and was like, oh, my God.
That was the Kimbe. That was the Kimbe Macumbo. If I would have been there, no. If I was there, I would block all that.
Right. Oh, boy. It was a great weekend for the NBA. I just thought it was a great weekend. It'll get ready to go into the season and everything now, and we'll talk again. But, man, that was a great show. They put on a show. People had a good time. They were in Toronto. It makes you a little more curious to see, what's up in Toronto. Have you ever been? No.
Been not to Toronto, no. I've only been to Calgary and Windsor, right on the other side of Detroit. So.
See, that's one on me. I haven't been. I'm curious to go now, to see what it's like.
Mick and Rick trip. Mick and Rick trip.
Mick and Rick trip. There we go. Hey, we should have made a Mick and Rick trip and went up to the All-Star game. We got to plan this thing, buddy. We'd be on location.
On locale.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
2 Kappas in the house. Rick, I appreciate you. You know, we keep getting this thing down pat. We appreciate everybody listening to us and being with us. You know, we seen that found something that's working a little bit for us. Rick, peace.
Yes, sir.
Peace. And we'll be back at it again. And get ready for next week, because there'll be something interesting that'll happen in the world of sports like it always does. I appreciate you, Rick.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks to the crew. Arnett Moore, our music producer. Julio, the voice of one, our blogger. And our producer, Gerald Tooks of G Square Productions. Talk to you soon. Insights.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac 4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac 4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac 4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representations.